Okay, so we are live, and I'm here with Shanika and with Sudhir, but he's just kind of watching. And we've been chatting about this. We were just chatting, weren't we, about yourself? You're a nurse. We were talking about Sri Lanka and the UK. What were we talking about, Shanika?
We are talking about how to write essay and
Good.
different kind of essay essays.
What?
And this
Mhm.
and this is we are talking about this cause and causes and solution.
Exactly, and this is a quite. It's not a very common type that you don't see many people. I mean,
Yes.
you don't see many teachers teaching this, but I've seen lots of essay questions like this. I have seen them. Yeah, so we were talking about essay types. We did a whole review of IELTS and that kind of thing, and then we were just chatting about your work, weren't we? And the UK. I work for TTM
Mhm.
English. We're part of TTM Healthcare, so we deal with nurses all the time, and we know that in the UK, it's not very popular to be a nurse for native people, right? Um, and you were saying that that's also true in Sri Lanka. Is that right?
Yes, sir. Yes.
What are the reasons for that?
Uh, Working long hours
Good. What else? Causes.
and stress caused to
Good.
uh, working and financial reasons.
Good. So we
That's
came up with four really, but we came up with three ones I've just shown you there. That three causes, didn't we? Those are the causes of what. That's why people don't want to be nurses, or less and less. And then we came up with some. These are quite obvious solutions. What are the solutions to long hours? Decrease hours. Solutions to stress. Shanika.
reduce the workload,
Good. And we were thinking maybe this idea of long hours can be also used here.
yes.
And what about the salary?
Increase the salary.
Okay, we decided we only needed two of these for our essay
Okay, sir.
when we were
Yes,
generating
sir.
the ideas. So we just actually Shanika, she's chosen these, and we're gonna write an essay together now,
Okay,
and
sir.
everyone will be able to see it. Okay, on the recording of this, we're gonna write a really nice essay here using these ideas.
Okay, sir.
I just made up this IELTS question because I've seen many like this, and it was what we were talking about. Right, now, introduction. What do you do for your first sentence, Shanika?
Paraphrasing question.
Good. Paraphrase the question. So what does paraphrase mean?
That mean a question rewrite with similar meaning and
Yeah,
similar
yeah.
vocabulary.
Similar meaning, similar vocabulary. Good. And many people make the mistake of trying to too many different things here. So my advice is keep it simple. You don't need to change everything here. All right?
Okay. One or no, two words.
Yeah, because
Yes.
sometimes people they spend too long and they make mistakes. I also advise you to begin with there are or there is here, right?
Okay.
Because that will change the whole grammar of this. Yeah? And this
Okay.
isn't a grammar class, so I'm gonna challenge you now. We're gonna start off with there are. And we're trying to paraphrase this here, aren't we? Yeah?
Okay.
People watching this video, how can we paraphrase this? Have a think about it. How can we paraphrase it? Shanika, do you want to try?
There are fewer number of people.
Mm-hmm. Good. 1 second. Uh, say that
Fewer
one more time.
people. There
There
are
are
fewer people. Fewer.
fewer
Fe-
people. Good. I like it. So not less and less. You're saying fewer. Yeah. Now we want to say, let's just say today. You don't have to think of another word for today. This is what I mean. You don't need to choose a synonym for everything. Yeah. So there are
okay.
few people today. Now, when you use this,
Like to be nurse.
but Shanika, when you use there are or there is, you can't put a verb here. It's a different structure.
Okay, sir.
Right? Do you know what you have to put next?
There are few people today.
You have to put a relative clause,
Who?
right? Who, yeah. So this is a
Someone
really,
who?
this, yeah, this is a, I'm just going
Uh,
to point this out though. If you use this and this together, it's a very quick way of paraphrasing the question. So there are people, fewer people who,
like
on,
to be
no,
enough.
you don't have to change every word, Shanika, right?
Oh,
This is the,
want
everyone,
to
it's a mistake many people make. We're changing the grammar, so we don't need to change it so much. So we want to be nurses, right? We're just going to take the words. Now, we've got in places like, now, how can I change this here? Shall I say Sri Lanka here?
yes,
Why don't I change it round?
Asian country.
No, don't say anything extra than the question. Just say the same thing, but think about this. You need to change this.
The UK and Sri Lanka?
Yeah, is that Merlin?
Yes, sir. Hi, sir.
Good. Lovely to see you, Merlin. How are you doing?
Good, sir. Not bad.
Fantastic. Now look, we just changed them round, Shanika. Do you
Okay,
like that? You don't have to do anything special, but I forgot something. What do I need here?
like there.
Good. So I've done my paraphrase. This is cause and solution. What do I need to do next, Merlin?
Sir, we can say the essay outline directly.
Like in this essay, I will.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Do we need any opinion here?
No, sir.
We don't. Good. So we're going to go into the essay outline. Good. Or thesis statement or whatever people call it. So how should we begin that, Shanika? In this?
Essay.
Yeah, don't worry about this. I know everyone says this, but it's okay. In this essay, I will.
I will discuss both causes and solution.
Now, if I say both causes, are there only two causes? Is there only two causes? When we say both, that means it means two, but it means there are only two. Did you know that?
Okay, okay, sir.
I've just realized that myself, actually. Did you know that, Merlin?
No, sir.
It's very often it means the reason it doesn't work in this sentence is because if you say both, I think, wait a minute,
think both
there
mean
are more.
causes.
Yeah. So what we'll do, Shanika, is we'll just say, I will discuss two, of the main causes. Good. What do we need here?
And causes
What's the preposition we need?
in this.
Almost, Merlin. You can put on the chat
Yes.
box as well.
Of this.
Sudhir, what do you think?
Related to this.
You could say related actually, but I suppose of this, two main causes of this. You could also say for actually, or regarding. So I'm going to choose of, but you could have for or regarding. So there are two main causes of this. And Merlin, we want to kind of reference the question here, don't we? We want to try and paraphrase again, right?
Yes, sir.
And suggest what?
And suggest some solutions to tackle.
Yep, solutions. Let's have two. The problem.
To the problems.
I want to mention the question again here.
Okay,
The problem
sir.
of. Let's paraphrase the question again, but smaller. We'll summarize it. The problem of.
Reduced nurses.
Ooh, reduced. It's not reduced nurses so much. It's reduced interest.
Interest on nursing.
It's not on. Shanika?
In nursing.
Shanika, what do you
In
think?
nursing.
It is in, yeah, good. So now we've got two sentences. I really like this. We've paraphrased the question, and now we've done our outline of what we will do. Again, my advice to you all is this. Many people think that they shouldn't do this, and some teachers teach you shouldn't do this. Do this. The examiners will mark 100 of these every day, because my friend is an examiner. She says, I mark 100 a day. She says she likes this phrase. She doesn't not like it. She likes it because it makes it simple for her, right? So you can use that. Okay, so we've got our introduction. Now we're going to go to and look at main idea number 1. Okay, so we're looking at paragraph 2. Which would you prefer, Shanika, this one or this one?
First one, and stress.
Stress. And I always say, you know what I'm going to say here, Merlin. So what we're going to, what's the phrase?
First and foremost.
First and foremost. Now, I want us to, Shanika, do you know about this thing where you say one of the?
Oh, yes, sir.
So how do we say this? One of the main
Causes
of. Now we need to paraphrase again, don't we? One of the main causes of what?
people who.
I don't think people who is the best way.
One of the main causes of dislike.
Dislike is too strong. Here, Merlin did it really nicely here. You can't copy this, but she just said reduced interest in nursing. We need something like that again, don't we? Any ideas?
So lack of interest in nursing?
Lack of interest in nursing? Yeah, I like that. But I want Shanika to try and think of one. You would say a lack of interest, right? Shanika, can you try one? How about this? Decrease.
Less like.
Oh, yeah. Less.
Less like.
Less. Now, it's not that they don't like it, is it? Sometimes people like things, but they don't want to do them because of the stress and the money. It's not that they don't like, I don't think less people dislike nursing. They dislike the stress. They dislike, right? So you can't say like. You could say something like interest, right? What else could you say, Merlin? Is there another word? Not dislike, of less. I'll give you guys a new word. Yeah, go on.
Sir, can we give importance?
No, because importance is something. It's something. It's a feeling, right? It's an attitude. So I would say less in. What do you think of the word? Here's a great word.
Enthusiasm.
Yeah, excellent. How do you spell it, Merlin?
E-N-T-H-U-S-I-A-M.
So less enthusiasm for nursing. Okay. Well, first of all, it's one of the main causes for less enthusiasm. These days. We need that, right? Now, this whole thing, that's like an object to your sentence. Sorry, a subject to the sentence. Did you know that?
Yes.
Why? How do we know that it's a subject to the sentence? Think about this. Is there a verb here?
No.
There's no verbs. So it's just a compound noun, isn't it?
Yes.
So if that's the case, what do I need here, please?
Verb.
I need a verb, don't I? Merlin, what's the best verb here?
Is.
Okay. And when you're using this technique, I call this technique, I'm not teaching this today, but I call this technique referencing the question, right? And I've taught Merlin this many times. Don't forget, after this big long noun, subject of the sentence you know is, then we need to summarize our ideas here. All right. So we're going to do, was it salary or stress? I forgot. Which one do we need?
Stress.
Okay, so we're going to say one of the main causes of less enthusiasm for nursing these days is what?
Stress.
Stress. You could just say stress, and it's still a long sentence, isn't it? It's very long. It's nice, but let's be a bit more ambitious, and let's say what kind of stress, or what could we put
Work
here?
stress.
More stress. You could say more stress.
Yes, sir. Work stress.
More work stress would be nice. You could say, I suppose. Shanika, what else could we say? Think about, this would be an adjective here. Think about, is there more or less?
More.
So you could say the
Increased.
The increased stress. Okay. Who's that? Is that Nissan Salah? Thought I heard your voice. Ah, Sophia's here as well. Sophia, say hello.
Hello, sir.
Hey, nice to hear your voice. Nice to see you guys. Really nice. Okay, so we're mid-essay. First and foremost, one of the main causes of less enthusiasm for nursing these days is the increased stress. Shanika, what are we doing next?
Next.
This is our topic sentence, isn't it?
Yes.
So what do we need next?
And it is next. Explain it. Is why is that?
Yes, we do need to explain. Good. So this is because, should we just start with that today? Keep it simple. We need to move a bit faster. This is because
Nurses usually do long hours.
actually, sorry, that's the wrong phrase. That is to say would be better. That is to say. I'm going to ask Sophia. Think about this. We're not trying to give an explanation of why they work more. We're trying to explain the fact that people don't like nursing now, or less and less they like it. So, Sophia, how could you say that? That is to say...
the reason why
Yeah, nice.
Why people are not choosing nursing.
Okay, I say as interested, right? Not as interested in nursing these days, right? So the reason why people are not as interested, in nursing these days
is due to the physical burden, or due to the increased or more physical burden.
The increased physical burden. I like that, physical burden. Caused by
working, cost in the working.
Hectic working.
Now, the problem with this sentence, it's really nice grammatically. This is kind of my fault, but this is a good point to stop and think about the logic of IELTS. That's a good sentence, but that's more like a paraphrase of this sentence, isn't it? It's not an explanation, right? So maybe I was right all along. Let's go with, if you use this phrase, this is because, it forces you to actually explain this. Right, so obviously there's more stress, and so why if there's more stress in a job, why do people not want to do that job? I know that sounds stupid, but that's what we have to explain. It's very silly. So this is because
relaxation then.
So we want to say something like, people these days, what do they want? Do they want more or less stress?
More or less stress.
So people these days, now I'm going to, professions that are less stressful.
Prefer professions?
Yeah, you could say prefer. What else could we say? Prefer. I can think of a nice collocation here. Merlin, Shanika. What's a missing word that we could say here? Prefer is good. Any ideas? What's that word where it means that you chase?
Pursue.
Pursue. Yeah, right. To pursue a profession, that's a collocation. You know, like you say, take a shower, right? You don't say do a shower. That's because the verb fits with the noun. We don't say take a drink, really. We say, what verb do we need with drink?
Have a drink.
Have a drink. That's called collocation. Do I say this? Do football?
Play football.
It's play. That's collocation. Some verbs native speakers only use together. So we tend to say pursue a profession. So that's nice. So this is because people these days pursue professions that are less stressful. What about this? What's the word that means a past? No, does anyone know a phrase, a verb that means, no, it's not past, it's present, isn't it? So it means habitual action.
Always.
That's always, but you know, like not 100%.
Usually.
You could say usually, that would be all right. You could say usually would be good actually. Usually pursue. Yeah, let's keep that. I was also thinking of tend to. You could say tend to. Usually is good. So we've got our explanation now. Do I want an example? Think hard about this. Do I want to give an example now?
No, sir.
Good, Merlin. Sophia, do you agree?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
It's something
Shanika, do you agree with that?
No, sir.
Okay. Well, I don't normally say this, but you're not correct here, okay? I would never normally say that to a student, but this is very important that you don't give an example. The reason is you've got too many things to say and you only have 40 minutes, right? If you do a topic sentence and then you do an explanation and then you give an example, you also need to do, this is for the cause, right, Shanika? Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Then if I need to give a solution as well, I need to explain that solution and then I need to give an example. How many sentences do I need to write?
There are
6.
number of
6.
lots of.
And we don't have time. We do not have time. So we're not going to give an example. Instead, we're going to give a solution. And we're not going to explain that solution. We're going to give an example here. Okay?
Okay.
Because we've got too much stuff to do and we don't have enough time. So can anyone give me a phrase that introduces now the solution, possible solution? Any ideas? And type it in the chat box if you want. I need a linker or a phrase that tells me I'm now talking about solutions. What can I say? Anyone? Shall I say this? I will now talk about a solution. Is that good?
No.
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 It's too literal. But that you need to find the native. So here says the best solution is that. Yeah, I would say. So Sudhir, you don't want to say the best solution. You want to say because you're not sure. You might want to say something like one solution, right? And you could say key. One key solution to this problem. Oh, to this. It's not a problem, is it? One key solution to this is. Shanika, what's our solution? Do you remember?
Reduce the workload per nurse.
Okay. To reduce the workload. What? Finish that sentence, please, Shanika.
Per nurse.
For nurse. Just one. For a nurse. Or all the nurses.
That means PER, per nurse.
Nurses. Yeah.
Workload of nurses.
Merlin says to approach the above problem. That might be an idea. You could say to approach the above problem. I like that. One key solution to this is. It's very nice. I'll put this here. It's not necessary, but it's good. One key solution to this is to reduce the workload for nurses. Now, what we're going to do last, Shanika?
Example.
We're going to give an example. So we're going to say, for instance, that's a bit slightly different way to say example. Can anyone think of a good example of how, you know, it's pretty obvious, isn't it? But you can invent it. I'm thinking of Merlin and Sophia here. You could help, or Shanika, you could help. For instance.
Okay. So if a hospital recruit more nurses, then the workload
Will be
might be reduced, and that directly reduce the stress level.
Oh, I like that. For instance, if a hospital recruits more nurses, then the then the workload would be reduced.
Be reduced.
But we need an example of why. The example, you have to tell me why it's a solution. So you could say, and this, what effect would this have? Yeah.
And this reduces the stress level.
For nurses.
Nurses.
Okay. Because, Shanika, why would that? You've always got to try to explain. Always make yourself answer that question. Because, why? IELTS, they're trying to test you on your ability to explain, and it's not easy to do in English or any language. So, because what could we say here, Shanika? If there are more nurses, what will
Then the
happen?
work,
Shanika?
They will get reduce workload.
They will reduce, not necessarily. You could make them all work double. They will not need. Finish that sentence.
To do work.
So much. You could say so much work.
So much work.
Okay. Now let's think about conditionals though. If a hospital recruits more nurses, then the workload would be reduced. Is that right? Do we want the first conditional or the second conditional?
No, sir. If a
recruit
has
This is a
recruited.
verb. Yeah, we want the second conditional, right? Second conditional
recruit
is if, right, plus subject plus verb to, past tense, right? And then you have
good.
subject plus would, yeah, or could. Is the second conditional real or unreal, Sophia?
Unreal.
It is unreal. It is speculative.
Present.
Yeah, could you explain that to me, Sophia? What does that mean?
We imagine if it would be nice if it happened.
Yeah, okay, it's like imaginary. It's unreal. It's like an imaginary thing. And we're like, it's not very probable. Well, that doesn't help us here, but it's imaginary, yeah. But the real one, we use that for kind of like more. Can anyone explain this? This one's imaginary. It's a simple explanation. It's actually quite complicated. What about the real one? What does it mean?
That's the result of the first one. So,
yeah, I would say it's something like consequences.
yeah,
You're kind of like trying to emphasize that. But anyway, the second conditional, this isn't a grammar class. The second conditional is more appropriate here. So you need to remember you need ED here. Okay, so we've done that. We've done our solution and we've done a nice example, really nice example with conditionals. We now need to move to paragraph 3, which is going to have the same structure. So Shanika, what was the idea that we agreed upon?
In above example, the exam should explain which is why or because.
Say that again, one more time. In the example.
In the example, should we explain the example?
Explain.
Here
Yeah,
because if there are
yes.
more nurses.
Because what you're doing is, it's a good point. I think this is just now we're getting into some very sophisticated. That's a very sophisticated question. That's a brilliant question. All right, extremely
Because
high level.
I don't know this phrase. I always write only the
Yeah,
example only.
I say with your example, try to explain. I agree, by using because,
Okay, sir.
if it's possible. It's not always possible. Okay, and that way
Okay.
you manage to get, you're giving an example, which is what IELTS are looking for, an example. They want an example, but you're also explaining as well in one sentence. So that works really well. But don't worry if you can't do that. It's all about time more than anything else. All right, we need, what's a good linker to use, Merlin, when I'm moving into my my third paragraph? I'm talking about causes and solutions.
Another causes.
Okay, so another cause of what?
Cause of a lack of interest in nursing
Nice. These days. Let's just add that
these
in,
days.
okay? Is. So once again, this whole phrase is a subject. It's not, there's no verbs, right? Here's our verb. And how can we finish this sentence? I'm going to ask, so here, I don't know if you can put your microphone on at this stage.
Another cause of a lack of interest in nursing these days is.
No, sorry, one second. Shanika, can you give us the idea we had? Do you remember what it was? We had stress and Shanika?
Financial problem.
Yeah. Financial problems is not the right, you're almost there.
Reason.
You could say is financial reasons.
Reason.
You actually need a preposition here. Does anyone know? Does anyone know the appropriate preposition? When you're giving reasons, you
For.
might, yeah,
Main.
good, for. Right? Now, this is a kind of topic sentence which you really need to explain, because that could mean different things. We don't really know what that means. We need to be more clear, right? So this is because, I like this phrase today. This is because, Merlin?
Because only we have used in the previous.
We have, but
Can
to be honest, I feel quite relaxed about that, Sophia. But I mean, you could probably paraphrase this. Can anyone think of an alternative?
This is to say that.
Yeah, I've gone off this phrase. I want to try something new today. Let's try. How about this? The reason. What do I need?
Which.
I think.
Which.
Nope.
The reason for this is because.
The reason why. I've just thought of this just now. This is what I would say. The reason why this is because. Have you ever seen a sentence like that? This is correct.
This is
very natural as well. The reason why this is because. So again,
didn't we need a comma?
No, because this is the subject of the sentence. It's a phrase. The whole thing together. It's really crazy actually. So feel free to copy this for anyone watching this video. This is absolutely solid, correct grammar. The reason why this is because ...
Yes, tomorrow I'm going to use this.
Okay, but let's practice it then. Okay, don't. They say you should never learn anything new the day before the exam. You know that, because you need to. I always, as a teacher, right? I sometimes think, if I teach something new, have I taught a new error? Right? Especially with vocabulary. Everyone thinks vocabulary is easy to learn, right? But if you teach it wrong, what does that become? It becomes an error in an essay. Okay? So I don't think you should use this tomorrow, Merlin, okay? Day before the exam. You've got loads of other phrases. Although if you want to send me some example sentences after this class, I can tell you if you've got the idea right. Okay?
Okay, sir.
Test it out. Okay, the reason why this is because why do people want money, Shanika?
To spend sophisticated life.
Yeah, people want to what do we so that okay, to spend, well, you need to rephrase this, right? Try again. The reason why this is because people want, what do they want, Shanika? Why do they want money?
To
Or maybe they need.
Need.
Yeah. It's not so much people
spend
aren't
Need more
greedy.
money to spend
More,
for
more money.
yeah,
money to
Shanika, you finish this for us, okay? So the reason why this is because people need more money to
Spend
spend. Finish it, please. On. Do they want it so they can buy a new car? Do they want it so they can buy more food, travel, spend it on their family? Why do they want more money? Let's have a look. Someone's saying something in the chat box. Fulfill their basic necessities, to spend on,
yes.
you could say their basic necessities. I like that. Good one, Sudhir. Right? I would say they want. It actually sounds want. I know that sounds weird, but that's the case. It's not like you can't live on a nurse's salary. It's just it's not enough. A phrase I've been using throughout this essay is the phrase these days. Okay. Where I'm going to have to finish this class actually. Where can I put these days in here? In sentence 2.
This at the beginning.
You could put it at the beginning.
Because these days.
You could put it here because these days. Now, because we're talking about what people think at the moment, we need to use this phrase, but I'm sure Sophia has spotted a problem. What's the problem, Sophia? Are you there, Sophia?
yes, sir.
So what's the, I can't repeat the 2, can I? So do you know another phrase that talks about like,
Nowadays.
yeah, we could say nowadays. Do you know any more?
Recently.
Recently people can't use recently, but we could say nowadays. That would be good.
Okay.
Why can't you not use recently? Recently people want more money. Because, yeah, it's interesting. You can't say this, Merlin. Recently people want more money. I guess because this word has the idea of a finished past action.
Yes, sir.
Does that make sense?
That
Whereas nowadays
sir.
doesn't have, it's not, the idea is not that the action is finished.
Maybe we can change the sentence into perfect tense.
Recently people have wanted, yeah, yeah, it would make recently okay, but you couldn't do it in this essay. Okay. So I'm going to stop there because I've gone over. It's been really nice. I've really enjoyed. I really like. This is quite sad, but I like writing IELTS essays now, especially with people like Merlin and Sophia because they're so good. And you and Shanika, we had a nice chat as well. It's been really nice to do this with you. I'm too kind sometimes, but if you want to write this, if you want to finish, not the whole essay, but if you want to finish this one here. So that means paragraph 3 and paragraph 4. and send it to me, ttmhealthcare.com, right? Finish the essay. I will check it for you and I'll give you some feedback, try and give you corrections and that kind of thing. So there's my email. The document is on the website. The recording of this class will be on the website. I'll just stop by saying thank you very much, everyone, for attending.
Thank
Hope
you,
you
sir.
all have a good evening. Good luck, Merlin.
Thank you,
Thank you,
sir.
sir.
And who's got exams on Saturday? How many people?
Sophia.
So it's just Sophia.
Sophia and me.
Okay, right. I wanted to make sure. I'll be thinking of both of you. I know you'll be amazing. Okay. Let me
Thank
know
you.
how it
Thank you,
goes.
sir. Sure, sir.
Take care, guys. Goodbye.
Bye.
Thank you, sir. Bye-bye.